Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Game number 6 of the day. Immortals versus Longzhu Gaming. Let's take a look at the draft. Let's make this quick. Immortals coming into this. If they win this matchup, they are going to go into the match. Like if they just win this game straight up, they will qualify to the next round. Possible, but I feel like it's very unlikely. The last time around, Immortals, the game was quite competitive from Immortals' side. They were playing the Ezreal. But let's just get to it, let's just get to it. First pick Lulu. I have to heavily disagree with this when all the supports are open in the game. Like YamatoCannon is banned, but so is Xayah, but there's Lulu, there's Janna, there's a lot of options for the support role. I think Jarvan should have been the first pick here. Immortals seem to be happy with that choice, picking Lulu. Sure, you can match it more with Tristana and you can match it more with Kog'Maw, but I think it wouldn't have been a big deal. I think Jarvan is a great champion. Main thing here is also Longzhu had the option of picking Jarvan Tristana. I'm assuming that their thought process is that Varus is good into the lane phase of Tristana, and they're predicting Immortals to pick the Tristana, and then the Jarvan is still going to be a valuable pick. Longzhu round of the composition, at least the first 3 picks here with the Janna, and Immortals, they are with these 3 picks. And these 3 picks we have the classic bot lane is picked and jungle's being picked. I mentioned that Immortals might need to pick Kog'Maw, but Kog'Maw was banned, and of course, that kind of leaves them with very little options. They should go for Tristana here. So the main question here is if it was just better for Longzhu to just straight up pick Jarvan, Tristana, and then deny the Tristana for Immortals composition. But then maybe Longzhu would Immortals would have been the team with Varus, and maybe would have been worse. But I don't know. I would like the option where Jarvan just is locked in here together with Tristana, and then Jarvan has a good target to always ult that is going to be forced to use flash. Janna to round off the first 3 picks. Ban is Cassiopeia and Maokai. Not that big of a deal. I don't think the Longzhu bans matter that much. They blind picked Taliyah with only Cassio banned. I don't even think that Taliyah would have a hard time against Cassio anyway. Taliyah, I think this is very similar to Longzhu's previous composition, where instead of Taliyah they had Ryze. I think Taliyah fits very well with Varus. They want to play a high-pace, accelerated game, and I think that's a good approach to have here. Immortals, they are they picked the Cho'Gath blind pick. They banned the Trundle to make sure that they don't get counted. I thought from this position that they would pick Shen and LeBlanc. If they pick Shen and LeBlanc, they kind of have every element of the game covered, and they also have good blind picks and good picks to deal with. Jace is of course banned, so there isn't a heavy counter pick here for Cho'Gath. Trundle is also banned, right? Corki is the champion that becomes the blind pick with Cassiopeia out, and of course Taliyah is already picked from mid lane. Corki is a fine pickup to do. And then Longzhu rounded off with the Shen. So the main thing here that we can, if we look at both compositions, Immortals have some disengage on their carries that they can get out of the engage of Longzhu. Of course, Longzhu have a lot of engage tools here together with the Varus, and also then committing with the Shen and the Jarvan together. The main thing here will be Tristana's ultimate. Tristana's ultimate is going to be absolutely massive because she's going to fire away the Jarvan every time he tries to engage. So Immortals do have a lot of disengage tools. Their picks also scale very well into the late game. So for Immortals, the game is to just stall out for as long as possible, while Longzhu want to be very quick and elegant in the early stages of the game. Immortals also have the split push composition going with the Taliyah and the Shen. But Immortals will be able to match that with the Corki. So I feel like it's an even playing field. Longzhu need to get a lot of advantages in the early parts of the game, and Immortals just need to kind of stall the game out and then hope for the best. It's going to be interesting to see how the bot lane goes for Immortals here with the Lulu Tristana. It definitely has possibilities to outtrade Varus and Janna at some parts in the game, and that is important to highlight. Jarvan should be a bit more effective in the early game if you compare it to Sejuani, especially when he has a Taliyah in mid lane. Talia should be able to push early on and then transition the pressure elsewhere and then continue on in that kind of a fashion. So let's see now what Longzhu decide to do here in level 1. It's not some crazy Gigabyte Marines game, so it's not too shabby. They just spot everyone out. Immortals spot the ward from I think it was Gorilla that placed it down in the river. Longzhu are able to get the presence here in the top side of the map. Sejuani is moving together. It seems like Immortals are just moving in to get the deep vision, and Longzhu are doing the same thing. Longzhu are just going to start it, it seems. Like it's like their time is running out to go back to some camps. Yeah, they're just hiding here. Maybe they're going for some steal. They spotted Xmiri running to top side, so they know he is top side and he wants to start top side. So maybe their plan here is to just try to fight this. This is kind of crazy. I'm trying to compare the two champions versus the other two champions, but I don't think there's much of a difference. I think the main difference here is that Talia will push. Talia will be able to push and maybe get like a better position. But the main thing is Talia is not going to win that much time while she's doing this. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Both top laners already lost their melee minions. So the first 3 minions were lost top side. BDD is now here. This is going to be a classic smite battle. And the crazy thing about these things is that, you know, it determines the game so much, because whoever loses the buff here is going to be quite behind, because there's a lot of time invested into this. And Kaz gets it. This is the Sejuani E, and then he just timed it better than Xmiri here. The Sejuani E, and then Kaz just smites it. Excuse me, my throat is not working well with me. Okay, so to continue off of that, Immortals is they were just holy shit, I spaced out completely because of this cough. My throat actually hurts, but it's fine, it should be okay. Immortals lost the buff. Xmiri like he just got out-timed there with Kaz, and Xmiri's E with the burst. Kaz got the smite, and you can see that Xmiri is still level 1, right? So he's very far behind. He didn't use his smite on the golem, right? So he still has that to take the first camp, which is going to be fine. Now this gang coming into top side, it's you know, sure, the options for the pathing for Kaz is very, very varied here, and that could be like the hard part about knowing where Jarvan's gonna go. Because in some cases, Jarvan players, in this case, would just protect their own buff and take it to make sure that Sejuani doesn't get it. And, you know, Kaz has pretty much the option to go anywhere and still be fine efficiency-wise, because all his jungle camps are up. It's just about starting somewhere. But Kaz is going for the level 2 gank up top. 3 minutes into the game, Flame gets taunted, level 2 Shen. I think he's going to be dead here. There's just no way that he gets away from this when Jarvan gets such a good angle. Let's see what happens here. Flame is going to just get chased. Alright, Corki's coming, but I don't think it matters. Corki's moving in. Maybe Talia, maybe it's even bad for Corki, because maybe he misses a few CS here to the turret. Yeah, he did. He missed 2 melee minions, I think. It's a good situation here for Longzhu. They get early kills, and Xmiri actually manages to take away the blue. I don't think this should be able to happen, but the main outlier here is that the Immortals are actually managing to maintain a push bottom, and without this push bottom, Sejuani wouldn't be able to walk in. I assume that Longzhu would be able to pressure bottom, but I guess it matters that they have Fervor, and Lulu is a bit stronger than Janna in the early levels. The problem with Janna and all-in lanes like Varus is that, theoretically speaking, Janna doesn't have like a good offensive all-in, and Varus does, and usually Varus likes to be together with Braum, likes to be together with Rakan, and the champions that actually have a good offensive all-in, but Janna doesn't. So what's the main thing here is that when Longzhu is going to be the team that engages all the time, then this Janna is going to be less effective than she wants to be. She doesn't really have like some champs that she needs to heavily disengage, right? Sure, she can throw some tornadoes and shield people and maybe use the ultimate for healing, but it's not like the ultimate is going to be like some massive peel that's going to be clutch and winning the game. So let's take a look here. There's a pink ward up top, no flash on Choga, Talia is running up top, mid lane priority. She just pushed in, like there's no like big deal about this, like Talia can do this all the time. But BDD is known for ganking top at unorthodox times, and this really looks pretty free because he's working around the vision very well. The pink ward's in the bush. There was no ward around mid lane either. Seems like he's just not gonna go for it. Flame is respecting it. It seems like Corki's been pinging it out. Flame is in survival mode. Main thing is that Shen is not gonna super snowball on a Cho'Gath, right? So it's not a big deal. It's more the fact that they are getting ahead, and Shen, he can snowball in the sense that he can get priority against the Cho'Gath with his items and keep trading him, and then transition the pressure very easily with the Shen ultimate. So that is one way of snowballing, right? I don't think Longsu can dive this. Like, I was surprised in the first play that Kaz was just winning the trade. There's no passive on Xmiri, and it was pretty crisp how he did the trade, but there should be no chance in hell that Immortals get dove in here, right? It should just be not a possibility. Like I guess maybe if they chain CC someone, they can actually just one-shot that person, so maybe it works. Like Cho'Gath doesn't have flash, right? And neither does Xmiri. But with both under the tower, can they get dove? Yeah, I guess they could. Like, if like Talia starts tanking first and then she walks out when she gets low, and then the taunt, and they can pretty much one-shot someone. They have a lot of bursts here. They have Thunderlord on Jarvan, and Talia burst is really high. I guess the TP up here is respectable. It's respectable for sure. But it's also very good what Longsu do here, is that you just give up on the idea of diving top very, very fast and go back into mid lane and once again put themselves in a position where they have priority. Immortals and any teams in general seem to play very well with the Tristana. Doublelift as well, and Immortals here with the bot lane. Let's see now if BDD's gonna get something. There's W ready for Tristana. Not a big deal. He just used his priority from mid lane to get this. He needs to run back into mid lane now to get some CS. Just because he committed so far into bottom and didn't get anything, which means he's going to lose a couple of CS in mid. He lost an entire wave for that, so Propeltus is level 6 now, has a level advantage. And BDD actually didn't get much out of the pressure that he put on the map. Like, sure, he forced Corki TP, but how much is that going to actually matter? So let's see. We continue. BDD is still trying to create something. Cho'Gath has flash now, so it's not as easy as before. And hopefully this Cho'Gath is going to itemize some MR now for the matchup. I guess armor works as well because Shen is going to itemize Tiamat, right? And he does in fact do some physical damage, and the armor also helps against Jarvan. My thought process was that the main threat for him to die is going to be the Talia and the Shen. But it's very reasonable as well to buy armor against Shen and Jarvan, because of course the jungler in theory should be able to pressure more. Also, like, Righteous Glory is like the premium item for Cho'Gath that he wants to buy. He loves buying Righteous Glory, and it is definitely his preference. So a big thing here is that Immortals, just because they managed to win lane and play the lane for so long, Varus didn't get some super base. Tristana, if she gets the base on BF Sword, any AD that wants to buy BF Sword against an AD that doesn't want to, like for example Kog'Maw or the Varus that we see here, then Immortals is gonna be very happy. Like, basing on BF Sword is definitely an advantage, very strong for the lane. Recurve Bow is not that bad, right? It's not like you're instantly gonna win, but I think BF Sword is of course is going to be better. Okay, that is crazy. Let's see if did they know about the fact that Xmiri just came into this bush here? Yeah, he spots him for sure. The Varus ult comes out to disengage, and then they just walk away. So the main thing that you want to do with Talia is just to pressure around mid lane, play through mid lane, and then create something. But the stalemate that we are currently in is definitely positive for Immortals. They're getting the Corki TP back up. Talia is roaming up top. She's using these pink wards that they have, but I think he got spotted here. Flame. Oh, the TP from... Oh, this is going to be bad, actually. This is going to be bad. Like, Flame does a fantastic flash, and then Talia has long cooldowns here, and the TP that we talked about earlier is off cooldown. And then, like Rascal should die here. He should get popped for sure, and BD shouldn't be able to do much. Like, he shouldn't be able to get anything at all. Good juke. Good stuff from Pobelter here. You know, this is fantastic to see because I really genuinely feel like Longzhu is heavily reliant on creating something early game. But I think there's a big issue for them that they are actually getting pressured in bottom. That is where they want to create the big play with the Shen ultimate, but instead they went to top side, and Cho'Gath and Corki are going to be way stronger than Talia and Shen in a 2v2. The way things need to line up for Longzhu if they want to kill someone is that the Shen taunt needs to land, and then they need to chain it together with the knock of Talia, and then maybe they have enough damage to burst someone down. But the moment Cho'Gath flashed that knock up, then the situation was unwinnable for Longzhu. But also a very good response here from Pobelter. We will have to see if Longzhu can use the timer at all, where they have ultimate, the wall, and Corki doesn't have TP. But I think that should be around the time that Corki gets his next package. So it might be like an awkward timing here for Immortals when it comes to, you know, awkward timing for Longzhu when they have this timing window to create something. And let's see if I'm right about the package. Alright, so big deal here is that the Relic Shield is paying off. You know, bottom Gorilla has Ardent Sensor. I didn't notice before. The Relic Shield is definitely paying off, and this was like one of the rare occasions where it actually mattered. Janna coming into the lane with Ardent Sense is gonna matter a big deal, and the goal for Longzhu now is to make sure that the enemy bot lane doesn't base for free. They want to force the situation on bottom where there's a fighting kind of situation happening, and they want to make sure that OLED is not allowed to base. The moment he bases, they want to be in position to dive, and if they maintain this kind of status quo and make sure that no one is basing bottom, then they have this big Ardent Sensor advantage. Because I can imagine around, like, it's going to be soon, and then Lulu's gonna have enough money to pretty much he's going to have pretty much enough money to get this Ardent Sensor going for himself, and Longzhu just want to try to maintain the enemy bot lane in the lane. And all of a sudden the situation that we had before shifted heavily because of the Ardent Sensor buy and the Relic Shield buy. Relic Shield made them weaker, and now it's paying off. As long as Immortals, you know, do something here to pressure, doesn't seem like they can do it because Lulu is now walking out of base with Ardent Sensor. And then once again I expect the matchup bottom to shift in favor of Immortals. The main thing here is as well is like Shen, it's hard for him to impact the matchup like bottom, especially since it's all about that trading. We see this situation again. The moment Flame, holy shit, camera work. The moment Flame dodges that knockup from BDD, then he's not gonna die anymore, and he juked another one right after that. It was rather close. During the time that Lulu was walking back to base, walking back to lane, Varus was also back home. He just pushed him pretty much and based at around... Yeah, he's basing right now and walking to lane with Ginsu's Rageblade. Since Tristana didn't base and Lulu only based, they were quite ahead on tempo because Tristana didn't need to base, and the bottom tower took a lot of damage. And the price that they got out of it was that like Varus has Ginsu now in lane, which synergizes very well with Varus W, the Fervor as well. Let's see how it pans out for them now. They should be stronger with Ginsu's Rageblade and Ardent Sensor bottom. So hopefully they can use this to maintain priority bottom. Oh, Pobelter is doing some dancing. Holy moly, cleanse from Talia. Well played from Pobelter here. The package is up, and so is Talia ultimate. as long as Pobelto is not taking any risks here, like he can always get away with his ultimate, right? It kind of works like a modified ultimate always, where almost where he can kind of get out of anything while using it. Shen ultimate still not used for anything, and I feel like whenever that happens for Shen, then he's not in the best kind of game that he could be in. But to be honest, like what can they really do with Shen? Like they can use Shen to maybe get priority in mid lane, and then Cho'Gath's gonna respond with TP, and Corki can always keep a safe distance. And the bot lane is the same, right? Like Lulu, Tristana, even if they're trading a hard trading bottom, then you know getting away from them is not that hard. It's not that difficult for them, and it's just very easy for them to get away. Whoa. Let's see the situation now. Sejuani is in base. Immortals, like, it's crazy to think because, you know, Tala is getting priority in mid lane now. Cho'Gath is nowhere to be found top lane because he's in base and he's walking up top. So Shen has priority. It's a good opportunity for him to TP. Corki caught a wave under the turret, and then Longzhu, they don't know where Sejuani is. They don't know where Sejuani is. They don't know where the rest of the rest of Immortals is. Corki is cut off, right? And they know that they are ahead here, ahead of Corki. This is a clock. They're ahead of Corki, right? And they don't know where Sejuani is. Like, so they don't know where this guy is. They can assume that Corki is maybe at this side of the map, and that is going to give them enough time to do something. They also spotted the Corki mana. Like his mana is also like a big deal, right? It's almost empty. Maybe the thought process is for them that they know that Corki is going to base for Trinity Force right here, because that's what he's going to do evidently. And then Longzhu just commit into bottom. It's a good situation for them considering that Shen pushed in topside, right? So it's definitely, like, timing-wise, a good play. And the turret is almost falling, and Ole just gets one shot, he just gets one snapped, and it wouldn't have mattered if anyone was anywhere close, because Ole just gets snapped in half right there. And that was like, the base timings from Longzhu actually paid off. They lost a lot of damage on their bottom tower, but they came to the lane with this Ginsu's Rage Blade, which synergizes very well with Ardent Sensor, and it's a massive item spike here, especially with Varus. Very huge. Immortals now are going to try to look to equalize bottom. The turret is very low and should be an easy pickup. And hopefully now the match is going to kind of be flipped on its tail, where Varus is going to be topside, and seems like Immortals are going to continue here, but I don't think they can get anything. I think Varus will get top tower before anything happens bottom. Immortals are just going for the base. They're going to try to match it because they want to play for Rift Herald. There's no reason for them to play into bottom now. They want to send Cho'Gath there. Cho'Gath isn't in position to defend one wave though, because they know that their thought process is that Janna showed bottom, so they have enough time for Cho'Gath to defend 1v2. But Longzhu is very mobile and very quick here. You can see that Janna's already here in position after being bottom, and so is Talia. She doesn't have ultimate. Flame has flash, and it seems like it's going to be safe this time around. Lulu and Tristana was coming, so diving was a massive risk, and Cho'Gath definitely played it good because he could have stayed there, took a wave, and then he based to go into bottom. Shen now has a window. Wait. So Shen has a window now where he can roam a bit because bottom is pushed in all the way. Corki has TP, but he also doesn't have any mana, not a lot of mana to work with. TP comes in. Flash from Janna. Holy moly. Whoa. Longzhu just got smashed, man. They got smashed. So you gotta give props to our boy Cho'Gath here that placed this magical ward. I'm assuming that Flame knows that his bot lane is gonna come up there and he's gonna walk into bottom, and it's going to be a juicy situation. This ward is is MVP. Like, this ward is crazy good, you know. He knows that his bot lane is going to swap into top eventually, right? This has to be the thought process. A different thought process for most people that do this is that they push in, they ward, and then when the enemy is slow pushing out, sometimes they walk with the jungler through the lane. So this could also be the reasoning for it. But let's say that it was because he planned out this TP where the enemy is going to slow push and they're going to put themselves, you know. It's another reason why the ward is good. Sure, you can see those junglers come in from the lane, and at the same time you can set yourself up to TP from very good angles. So Longzhu are trying to hit the turret here, but Flame is clearing the waves. And now Talia is back in mid lane, and she's at a global disadvantage because she doesn't have her ult, right? So she can't join the fights too fast. She clears mid wave, and then Corki, seeing Talia in mid, just goes for it. He just goes for it. No Shen ultimate, you know, and all in all, I just feel like this is a very good play from Immortals. This ward is definitely super clutch, and on top of that, it's just a good timing because Shen doesn't have globals, Talia doesn't have globals either. So this matters a lot, right? It matters big time. We continue now. Gorilla flashes in kind of the wrong direction. I don't know if it would have mattered if he flashed in this direction to try to survive by himself and then ult out. But a great play here from Longzhu. And to be honest, you know, even if Talia had ultimate, even if Shen had ultimate, I just think that Longzhu would have died anyway. So there's this problem for Longzhu that Immortals are committing to this play. Longzhu see it coming from a very vast distance. They see Xmeri coming, then he plants over the wall. He dances over Kaz. He just ignores him and gets past him here. Xmeri, good play. And then Longzhu were in like this false sense of security because they had their jungler and river, and Immortals just seized the day. Very well played from Xmeri there to run this lap around Kaz, and Kaz was kind of lost there, and Immortals really seized the day. You know, sure, you could say that Longzhu were over-aggressive there, which they for sure were because they saw Sejuani coming, and they didn't have any Shen ultimate, no Talia ultimate, so they definitely overextended up top. Because Longzhu had the information they needed to play with that. Well, while Immortals is going topside and doing this gank on topside, Longzhu are picking up to mid tower because Corki was there. This was a 5-man play, right? And Shen was in fact pushing bottom. We were talking about how the wave was stacking and Shen would have priority and he could roam, but instead he just went to start punching the tower, and BDD in mid lane also got the tower during this time. So this, you know, in the end, even after praising Immortals, recognizing that they had this play as a possibility for them, it doesn't end bad. I mean, it ends quite bad. Holy shit, those rocks were perfectly placed. And Tristana just W through them. Holy moly. And Longzhu, after giving away double kill, they just look even more strong than before. Absolutely crazy. So the Shen ultimate was used, and they got the mid tower and the bottom tower. Is it just an overcommitment from Immortal, where they're committing too many TPs up top? And whoa, what just happened? They're just committing too many TPs up top. They're 5-man top, and they don't even take the Rift Herald as an objective. On top of that, like the moment they're making the play, like let's take a step back and just take a look at the moment that the play comes in. The play comes in after Longzhu got the wave. So it's not like they're contesting on the wave and they can use the wave that's coming in for more objectives. So it means that they're really far behind on tempo and when it comes to pushing towers. So right now, like Longzhu already killed the wave, there's no way for them to push the tower with, while Shen is already hitting the bottom tower, Talia is doing the same in mid lane. So this is a big deal, right? Super big deal. Welter, because of his lack of mana, needs to base. And Longzhu just get 2 turrets. Alright, craziness. That was Kodi-san getting smashed by the Talia. Shen ulti was used though, but it's a good play, all things considered, because Longzhu are playing at the top side and Rift Herald is open and it becomes very, very free here. Lulu Corki is also a lethal combination. They synergize very well, like Lulu and AD carries in general do. No idea what happened here. Like, I'm just gonna wait and hope that there's a replay, because all we can see is that BD just got smashed. Like, there was a Lulu speed up into a Valkyrie, and then like Talia just got one shot. Like, look at Talia's HP here, and then you can look at the minimap and you can see the Corki W is coming in now. Boom, he probably has like the shield of Corki, I mean the shield of Lulu, and then he straight up just one shots Talia here. Crazy stuff. Look at the rocks. Kodi-san just jumps through them and takes so much damage. Very well played there. And then in mid lane we see the all-in, like, holy mother. He just gets one-shotted. Is Ardent Sensor balanced or what? You know, the beauty of Ardent Sensor for Corki is that Magic Pen scales with Ardent Sensor damage, and that makes it even more powerful for him. And Talia just got one-shotted. Like, Corki is starting to reach like breaking points where he's very healthy in the game, very, very fed, and it's very positive here for Immortals, because the two people that need to stay in the game and need to be fed are quite decently fed. Well, on top of that, like, it's not like on anyone on their team is not really underfarmed. Longzhu's gold advantage is mostly that one tower that they are ahead with, and I'm assuming it's also the relic shield that is making a lot of money here. Well, let's take a step back. So at this point in time, Longzhu want to send Shen into bottom, Talia into top side, and then Longzhu will just stay with their bot lane in mid. I think it's a mistake. I feel like they should have Talia in mid lane, because she's the one with the cleanse, and if the enemy team is playing against someone with a cleanse, they're engaged all of a sudden out of the window, and Varus and Janna are very easy targets for Sejuani to ult onto here. Janna doesn't have flash, and I think the lane assignment here is just wrong. I think it's going to be a problem for them. Smitty gets ult onto Janna. Shen ult is used. Cho'Gath is coming in from an angle. I think this should be fine for Immortals. They are in position for the Drake, but is the Drake fight going to matter here? Let's take a look. Good taunt. Holy shit, Kodi-san just get caught, but he manages to survive. Gets the damage down to Shen before he dies. So the trade-off here is one kill for that Drake. Let's take a step back and see what the players could have done better here. Okay, so it started off with the Sejuani ult on Janna. Janna ult taking a lot of damage, used heal to walk away. Of course, when Sejuani ults, she can't stun another time, and Tristana wasn't ulting instantly after it happened. Like, maybe Kodi-san needed to like W forward. Like, maybe if Kodi-san W'd forward, he would auto earlier. If he autoed, like, if he W'd to the space, he would get maybe more autos into Gorilla, and then he could walk out. But then maybe he jumps into a Varus ultimate and could be in trouble. So it's understandable why he doesn't do it. Immortals is now in a group situation. Tristana is kind of cut off. You can see that both Tristana and Pobelter, you can see Pobelter here, and then Tristana is right here, and the front line is right here. So right now, Longzhu are in theory an advantage because they are more grouped. Let's play it. Let's continue. And now Immortals, they regain their position because they are grouped again, so they are happy with this position. And Longzhu are the same, but they're going through a chokehold. Like going through this chokehold is always going to be hard. So this is a position when you need to walk out and be fine with it, and then the enemy team can't follow you through. But let's play the clip and see what happens. Longzhu try to fire forward, and they're walking through a chokehold. That makes it very difficult for them. Kodi-san almost dies, uses the barrier for nothing, kinda too late. Shen manages to get killed because the teammate from Longzhu need to walk through this chokehold and it takes them quite some time. Rascal also on this Shen right now doesn't have too many tanky items. Like he has his Titanic Hydra and he doesn't have a lot of defensive stats, so he melts there really, really fast. So the main thing here for me is that I feel like Longzhu should have just given up the space right now. I think fighting from this position is not the best thing that you want to do, like in this kind of space. I feel like they should just walk back into mid lane and then play in a more open area. After all, it's just an Ocean Drake, right? So it doesn't matter too much. And then the taunt comes in and Longzhu cannot hit this as much as they want to. It's very close though that Kaz gets the EQ onto Tristana, and if he did, Tristana would have died. It's very close here. We can see the EQ coming in right now, and it's really close that Kodi-san would just die there. Gorilla just ults for the heal. Shen manages to die. He gets feasted, takes a lot of damage from Pobelter. Like Pobelter is the one that's dishing out the most damage right now because he's level 14. Level 14 Corki is doing a shit ton of damage, and Pobelter is having a fantastic game. The main thing here is I don't think Longzhu should have committed for this. I feel like Longzhu should have just walked out and been happy. But they get the prize in the end. They're the ones that get the Ocean Drake. Maybe it's a worthy trade. I'm not too sure. I don't think it's too impactful from both ways. Keep in mind now Longzhu is losing. Oh! Longzhu is losing a lot of CS during this time. Smithy flashes, okay. If we go back and look at the wave management of both teams, you can see that it's in favor of Immortals because Cho'Gath did in fact push this bottom wave out before he grouped up with Immortals, so this matters a lot too. Longzhu now use their ultimates and they are in a position similar to Immortals because Immortals also use a lot of their ultimates. Okay, we've been through this plenty of times. So Immortals is, to be honest, very happy in this current state of the game. They are less than 2k gold behind. A lot less, to be honest. It's 1k and 300. They are very happy. The Rift Herald is not doing anything here, and they are the ones scaling into this game very well. Longzhu, they need to keep looking for those picks with their ultimates. That is the way to victory for them. I'm still thinking back to the draft, and I sincerely believe that Immortals, like Longzhu, should have picked the Tristana together with Jarvan in the same go, and then the enemy team would have an AD that would not be able to jump out of things. Maybe if they pick Caitlyn, but I don't know. Playing Caitlyn right now seems kind of meh. So I don't know. Maybe Caitlyn would have been good if Longzhu picked Tristana away. Let's see now. Okay, let the Baron dance commence. The main thing for me that I think is a problem now for Longzhu is that Immortals can in fact engage on Longzhu in mid, but with Sejuani ultimate, do they have enough burst to supply this well? I think also Pobelter can put himself in the side lane against Talia and win. We saw those heavy trades he put himself into previously when he got that, you know, pretty much 1v1 kill, but Lulu shielded him, of course, and that provides a lot of damage. But the lane matchup Talia against Corki should look very similar now when Corki matches her on side. And then in mid lane, like sure, Lulu, Tristana, Sejuani don't have enough burst to burst someone down, but they can definitely force a situation. And when they can force a situation with the Corki coming in from the side, then maybe they can burst someone down. Let's see now. Vuelta's willing to take this risk because he has the golden skis. I think they look like skis. I don't know, I feel like something is up with my lungs. I think I need to go to a doctor. I really don't feel too well, but gotta wrap this day up. Longzhu. Still same issue for them. Like Shen is pushing bottom and Cho'Gath will match. I think, you know, Cho'Gath should be able to play the lane with no problems on bottom, and he should be able to push, I think, even against the Shen, but Shen of course has Titanic Cairo, the classic build. Can you imagine there was a time where people didn't buy Tiamat on Shen? Yeah, those were the days. Immortals, they need to just play with the fact that they get priority. I think it's going to be hard for Longzhu to kind of break through that. If anything, they will have to try to like kill Corki on the side lane with the Jarvan and the Shen, and maybe like set themselves up to get a kill. Let's see now what Shen is up to. They're just playing for this Infernal Drake. Shen with the TP is going up top lane. Longzhu is also positioning for this by grouping up and Shen pushing top. Like if he was pushing bottom, then it would have mattered, but he's split pushing top. Good Talia wall, but I don't know how much it matters. Longzhu might get priority in mid lane off of here, but Pobelter already cleared the mid wave. Like he's level 16, so those orchids are definitely packing a big punch. Ult was used by BDD already. The only thing level 16 gives him is a lower cooldown, and that's not going to matter that much here. Let's see now what happens. Like the positioning for Immortals is way better here, and it's going to be very hard for Longzhu to get in here. I think that Longzhu should, like from this position, I feel like they need to give it up already and maybe pressure around Nashor, because Immortals, they just had a better timing for this. Like Cho'Gath is pushing bottom at the right time, Drake is just coming up. They got the midway priority on the wave that mattered, and now Longzhu is grouped. They're not even completely grouped, and Varus is like coming in, and Immortals have the superior position around the Drake pit. So let's try to spot the mistake. Let's try to go back in time and spot what time Longzhu needed to be there in order to actually contest it at a good time. They would have to... Varus is doing a lot of running around, and I feel like he had to base after killing this wave in order to be on time. Like he had to base with that wave that he just killed and be happy with how the mid lane would be positioned. But instead, Immortals are the one that get to go into base. They're walking out right now, and Varus is behind on tempo. So is Jarvan. Like everyone from Longzhu is basing, and I feel like it's all kind of late. But let's take a look. Let's take a look what happens. I thought that the Talia wall would give Longzhu the position back. But the main issue here is that, you know, Pobelter already cleared the mid-wave, Longzhu backed up to take it, and now Immortals have the space around Dragon. They have this space controlled, and it's going to be very hard for the enemy team to get in here. We have the Shen ultimate with the Redemption. He didn't get healed by the Redemption there. He's holy moly, what is happening in this fight? How can it be so close? I thought it would be an easy fight for Immortals considering their position. But Kaz gets this engage off somehow. And the main thing here is that Longzhu are actually able to work with this space. Like you can see, Prey is actually getting a decent position. And then the rest of Longzhu is actually able to walk in here. So in a case where Immortals weren't stacking up to the wall here and played a bit more up here and actually had vision in this area, the situation would be better. But now there's a big issue here for them that Longzhu is swept this bush and freaking Immortals have no vision here. They have no vision here and they are completely blind here. So it's hard for them to zone the space. And if that's the case, I think they should just be doing Dragon instead of fighting in this area. Because right now, they're fighting where Longzhu actually can face check and they have bush control. Ideally, Immortals would have had a ward here and would have stopped like the Longzhu players from pouring in from this kind of this space here. But with the lack of vision, it's not possible. So they should just play around this space and then just start hitting this, force the enemy team to engage in an area where they have more space. But instead here, like Immortals are standing next to a wall, they're lining themselves up. Cody-san is not going to do anything from this position, and they're standing like a row of inmates that are being interrogated. So either you stand here as a team and stop the enemy team from going through here, or when you don't have vision here, let's say you don't have vision here and you don't have vision here, you need to just straight up start the Drake and just force it, and that's it. And then the enemy team will have to cross this line and you can zone a lot better in an open area. But right now when you're fighting here and the enemy team have control of this space and this space, then you're gonna run into a bad time. And you can see the positioning from Immortals. It was good in the first place, but then it just got completely ruined. So let's take a step back and see at the point where Immortals ruined the position. Immortals now are in good position, but right now what happened to Cody-san? Cody-san, he W's into Africa. He W's into Oblivion. This is question mark pings. Where is he going? What is this? Crazy stuff. And Cody-san kind of breaks the line that they have here. Because if Cody-san didn't W and just stayed here, then this would have been a lot easier. Because he's not even DPSing the Jarvan. And maybe it would have been the difference between life and death here for the Jarvan. So Cody-san definitely like ruins the position for Immortals. Cody-san is now DPSing from the left side. And, you know, the OP Lulu combo with Tristana is just not being used here. Because Lulu is not buffing up the Tristana. Had to buff with the Corki instead, and it looks like Longzhu are going to secure themselves a Drake. Main thing here is that Xmiri has his flash and his smite, and he's not going to do it. Not going to do it. Longzhu with the third Drake for the game. They have a nice color scheme going here. They just need some white in there to have the full square of dragons. Of course, they will be... It's not possible to have 4 different elements of Drakes. The game chooses 3 elements of a Drake, and those are the Drakes that are in the game. So the next Drake for sure is going to be either Ocean, Mountain, or Infernal. And Longzhu, I think they're going to hope for an Infernal Drake, because the more and more they fight, the earlier they fight, the better for them. The more and more crit this Tristana and Corki will stack, the harder it will be. And hopefully Longzhu will just buy a bunch of, they will just buy a bunch of Randuin's Omens to neglect the crit and then transition maybe into Tabi Ninja. A lot of damage here from the Varus. Like the Varus, when he gets to auto-attack tanks for a very long time, like he was auto-attacking Cho'Gath and Sejuani for a very long time, then he does a lot of damage. Like he does a lot of damage because of the builds, you know, with the Fervor and the Ginsus, and of course his W passive, it in general just does a very good job at killing tanks. But when it comes to trading blows with 80 carries, then of course Varus has a hard time, but when it comes to killing tanks, loves it. We're approaching 4 items now for Corki and Tristana. They just need to keep this up, and hopefully they won't lose the Nasher to Longzhu. Question is now, how should Longzhu play this game out? I feel like they could look for engages, like Lulu doesn't have summoners, neither does Flame. With the Javan and the Shen ultimate once again, Shen will just try to split push, and Flame should be able, like, this shouldn't be a big deal, right? It's such a long way down here for Shen to actually get in somewhere. Because with the EQ into nothing. Okay. So we can see Shen is starting to push. And this is going to be like a ticking time bomb here, but the same goes for Corki, because Corki is in a position where he can 1v1 anyone in the game. And as long as that's the case, Corki is going to have pressure as well. You can see he used the package. Immortals now are chasing Longzhu away. Talia is in no position, and they're backing off, rightfully so. Good stuff. Immortals are maintaining pressure around Nasher, but now they're going to lose it all because they need to respond to Shen. Are they going to force Nasher, or are they going to just do the simple thing and base with Cho'Gath and send it down there? But during this time where Cho'Gath is bottom, it's still going to amount to pressure for Longzhu. And the decision here from Immortals is crazy, because Flame didn't start basing it, and right now Shen is hitting Botar. Immortals are just not reacting, not at all. They're just not doing anything. Shen is, I'm assuming that the inhibitor is half health, even less. Like, inhibits the tower, of course. And Shen just picks this up for free. Crazy stuff. Not sure what the idea for Immortals was. Okay, they're going bottom. This works too, right? Like, they have double TP, so the enemy team doing Nasher isn't like some super thing, but Rascal should be able to taunt over this wall. No big deal. Longzhu were a bit too afraid to start the Nasher down. Not sure where that came from. Okay. Yeah, Longzhu probably couldn't do Nash straight up. It would have probably ended in a massacre because Immortals would just TP after them. But I like this play. I like this play where they went with the double TPs into bottom to try to gank to Shen, surprise him. I think it was a smart thing to do. Shen has Adaptive Helmet and Random's Omen, two items that are very good into Corki. Like, Adaptive Helmet works against Corki auto attacks, Random's Omen works against his massive crits, and Ninja Tali is also very good against Corki. There's a lot of items you can itemize specifically against Corki's DPS output. Adaptive Helmet is good against every spell of his, except maybe Q. Not maybe, for sure not his Q. Shen doesn't have flash, so maybe the next gank Pobelter will do into bottom will be more successful. Pobelter now with 4 items on this Corki. 80% crit is gonna do a metric shit ton of damage. Prey has some MR working for him with the Wit's End, and it's going to be a quest of who kills the tanks the first. And it's very important for Immortals that they get into the mindset that they want to play team fights very slow. They want to play it slow, and they want to kite the enemy team, and they want to survive the initial burst and make sure that their tanks are not out of position to get DPS down by the Varus. So very important for Immortals that when they see the engage coming, that they just disengage, make sure that Longzhu are using the Jarvan ultimates, and then Immortals just needs to rinse and repeat, because the range advantage is actually massive, and it should be difficult for Longzhu to actually catch a Corki and a Tristana. And as long as Lulu is not out of position, and neither is like Flame and Sejuani overextending in these fights, then it should be fine for them to maintain this. Longzhu, cause now the Varus ultimate is not going to land on Cody-san. It's quite clutch. Pobelter is so deep. What is happening to Pobelter here? Pobelter has his W right now. W's away. He got rooted. He was rooted. That's what's up. So he got Varus ulted right there. He got Varus ulted. He's spreading it to Cody-san. And then Pobelter flashes away after W'ing. Like, he W'd inside of the Varus ultimate. And, you know, right here you could argue that Xmiri is not acting like a frontline. Or maybe you could say that, you know, right now, like, Xmiri is not doing anything, and there's no protection here. I think Xmiri should have just queued in right there and it would have been a lot better. Like, he could have just queued in straight up, and he would have taken some focus here, and Immortals could actually trade quite well in this situation. But instead, like, Xmidi doesn't engage, doesn't do anything. Like, he has the Sejuani ultimate, right? So if he lands the CC on some target here, then Immortals can easily DPS that target down. That target is just gonna die, like, for sure. Like, they can, sure, maybe Jarvan gets away, like Janna uses cooldowns and shit, but it's going to be a good situation for them. They're the ones engaged in the fight, they're the ones DPSing the enemy down, but instead, like, Xmidi doesn't go for the engage. He's very late on it, and Prey gets the ultimate that he wants on Pobelter, that eventually kills him. Pobelter tried to W away from the Varus ultimate, but he ulted in a W away in a straight line. And Longzhu look like they're gonna just take away the Baron here. Xmidi is very low on HP, and he's regening some, sure, because of the Warmock's heart. Well, it's not some, he's regening to full quite fast. Let's see now if Cho'Gath Feast is going to be clutch. It's going to be rather close. I think it's going to be dangerous as all hell. Longzhu, they understand that they're taking a risk here, and they're just backing off. I can respect this play, for sure. It would have been like a 50-50 situation. There's no way for them to stop Cho'Gath from getting this, but they can just go for the kill. That works too. This is quite interesting. Flame and Xmidi were just out of position after trying to steal the Baron. And now it changes it. It becomes a lot easier to peel only one target than it was to peel 2 targets. So let's see now if Immortals can actually deal with this. Corki is TPing in. The Feast. Whoa. Slightly mistimed. Corki is down. Big problem here that... Never mind, not a big problem. Holy moly. Let's take a step back and look at what just happened. Whew. The Feast was slightly mistimed. Flame just got a bit too excited. And then Kaz just smited the Baron. And then what happened here is Pobelter, he rocket jumped in, and I don't like that. I don't like what he did right here. I think he could have saved his package and maybe packaged like this to put himself over the wall, and then maybe do some like DPSing from here. Then it would have been better. I don't know. I don't like the fact that Corki just dies here 1-for-1 against Prey. I really don't like it. I think they were stuck in the pit, and they could force Longzhu to some summoners here and maybe extend the fight with the help of package. Maybe the scenario would be like if he doesn't package in here, then maybe Longzhu would just get away, like they just flash over the wall, and maybe that's a situation that Immortals is just not happy with. In the end, Corki dies very fast. He gets his burst out, and Kodi-san W's on to BDD. No reset yet, and then he just gets eaten. I feel like Kodi-san has been very underwhelming. Like, you can see him getting EQ'd a lot. He doesn't have ultimate here to stop the Jarvan, but EQ'd into Shenton, into the burst of Talia, gets him killed. And you know, it should be difficult for Tristana to get caught in a fight like this. Like, she has flash up, and he just refuses to use it. And after the previous game, Kodi-san, you know, it's going to be hard for me to forget that insect Tristana play that he went for. That was the game-losing play against Fnatic. That was hilarious. That was crazy. That was super funny, to be honest. Feast happened, boom. And Longzhu now. The question now is Elder Dragon. I want to know about Elder Dragon. I don't want to see this replay. Thank you. What did Sejuani do in that fight? Yeah, Sejuani got killed, right? Sejuani got killed in the chase right before that because Xmidi and Flame were out of position. No flash on Flame, no flash on Xmidi. 2 level advantage here for Kaz. So should be able to outsmite Xmidi with this level advantage. But Feast should still do more damage. Does more damage than Smite could ever do. Let's highlight the summoners as well. Pobelter no flash. The only person with flash is Cody-san. Maybe he saved it for this rainy day. Let's see if it's going to matter. Good engage here. Trapping a lot of key people. Taunt on Lulu. Oh, but look at that. Immortal's actually kiting back and hitting the same target. You see the Cuz is falling down. Prey was hitting Xmiri during this time. You can see his damage onto tanks is crazy high. Like, Prey is doing so much damage when it comes to killing tanks. Cody-san with the flash. That's what he's been waiting for. Let's take a look at how Xmiri died in this case. So he's trapped outside the Jarvan ultimate. Ults. Like, where's okay, he just Qs the Jarvan. That has to be wrong, right? He just Qs the Jarvan. That has to be wrong. He needs to, like, just hit Jarvan with his flail and then just contest the bush and then Q backwards if it's necessary. Like, he doesn't have flash, right? So he's an easy target to kill. Kaz also dies while EQing backwards. You could argue that Gorilla maybe should have ulted here to save. Like, maybe he should have just ulted. It's hard for him to get in position though. Like, Gorilla could flash ult, but maybe that would save some of the people here. I don't know if flash ulting would be good for Gorilla. Like, if he just flash ulted here. Like, he just flash ults, they kill Sejuani and potentially Kuz survives. But maybe Janna is in such a terrible position then that she's going to die. But to be honest, if she ults people away, I think she's fine. So if Gorilla went for the clutch play here, where he just flashes right here, flashes here and ults in a circle and pushes people away, and then Sejuani into this direction right here. And at the same time, he could save Kuz, and Rascal could get out and walk in the healing, and then I think Janna should be safe in that scenario. Definitely. So the death of all smiters makes it easy for Longzhu to just seal the deal here with the Elder Dragon. They're the ones with the 3 drakes too, so this is going to matter big time. They got, I want to take a step back though and take a look at the rest of the fight. Like, we analyzed one portion of it and how Xmiri died, but after Xmiri died, Kuz tried to EQ out, and then Flame is pretty balls deep as well, and Pobelter gets cut off into the bad position. Right now Pobelter should be Wing here, and a big issue for them is that as long as Cody-san and Pobelter are not hitting the same target, the targets are not going to fall. And Tylea zones Pobelter off, and they could just chase, and Immortals needed to back off while Flame was dying. And in reality there, I feel like if Immortals are in a death ball and positioned together and DPS together, then these fights will always look different. Because look at how fast they just dropped the Jarvan, right? They dropped the Jarvan really fast through a Shen ultimate, and then Pobelter is once again cut off here from his team. Maybe Pobelter should have just W'd through here and relied on the fact that Cho'Gath is in position. But instead Pobelter, he continues up top side and then W's away, and now he's not grouped anymore. Because right now, like, I don't know if Shen has his taunt of cooldown, and Corki could just at any point in time here just W over this wall, and I think it would have been fine. And there would be no way of for Immortals to just catch him, right? These people are here, and then he could just W over the wall and keep DPSing the same targets, and then continue on hitting Shen. But instead here, like, he is not in position, and he gets zoned off, and then Taliyah can join his teammates quite fast. You know, Taliyah is back in the fight, and a lot faster than Immortals here. And I feel like if they were DPSing Shen while the enemy team was DPSing the Cho'Gath, they would actually win that DPS race, but Corki was zoned off. Amazing engage though. It's a big problem here for Immortals to not have flashes against Jarvan, but Jarvan drops very fast. I think we pointed out plenty of mistakes here that Immortals could have played better in, and Gorilla could have also potentially flash ulted to create an even better scenario for them, but they got the Elder Dragon, so there's not much to complain about, right? Oof, Varus, you know, this is all tank damage. This is crazy. This is all about killing them tanks. You know? Shen has his Elder Dragon, so he should be able to pressure the Choga quite hard in the 1v1. Not hard, but he should be able to push him off and like force some trades onto him with his true damage. Longzhu do a shit ton of damage now with this one. Going to be curious to see if Longzhu can actually break the base of the enemy team without like diving and risking it. You know, it's they don't have the Nasher yet spawning in 1 minute and 40 seconds. That is going to be the objective for Longzhu, obviously. And Longzhu have the open inhibitor from before when Shen was pushing. And them also just need to keep maintaining this idea that they're playing this death ball combo. Very late EQ from Kaz, doesn't knock up Flame, and the knockup would have been important, but Kaz now instead is in a very bad position. Prey with the GA has a lot of confidence, walks forward. Even though Longzhu will have a hard time sieging and taking enemy towers, the inhibitor bottom is open, so this matters big time. GA was sold from Varos to buy a Quicksilver Sash. Interesting. He can use it to get out of the Sejuani ultimate, and then all of a sudden he can't really get caught. Also with the heavy amounts of MR, he's gonna take a lot less damage from Corki. I don't know if Corki should just buy freaking Void Staff. Personally, I think Void Staff is really OP on Corki, because he's one of the few champions that has, like, every aspect of him is just magic damage. Like, even if his auto attack is all magic damage, right? Static shift is magic damage, and I just feel like Void Staff is such an underrated item on Corki. I think it's crazy how OP it is, and I think GA is a terrible buy. I think GA is not necessary. I think GA is useless. I don't think GA does anything. Like, if anything, just buy the QSS, the same thing that your AD did, so you don't get stuck in Varus ultimates like you've had the past fights. Okay, so long, like, Immortals are just straight up going for this. Are they doing this because they're afraid about the Shen split push when they have 2 TPs to deal with it? Immortals have a package, so it's a good time for them to force, right? If they can use this package for good. The Baron's gonna fall down very fast. It's important for Longzhu to just force the fight as soon as possible. The Nash shouldn't get low enough. The taunt lands on Cody's son, or it's Ole that it gets getting taunted. Baron is at 3k HP, and Xmidi has been tanking it for ages. EQ lands and Flame seems to be the first one that drops. Holy moly. Let's take a step back. So what is the reason behind Immortal starting this? I would say package, and also they showed previously in the game that they have no idea how to deal with the Shen bottom. Like, putting people with TP bottom is also like a possibility, right? But of course, Shen ultimate is way more useful than TP at this point, because he can just instantly appear in a good position in the fight, while you have to channel your TP, and it's quite predictable, and it's just not the same thing, right? So of course, there's a reasoning for it. So there's Shen TP and the Corki package. These are the reasoning why Immortals are starting this. And right now, you know, their position is so garbage. Cody's son needs to be here. Cody's son is here instead. And in a scenario where everyone from Immortals was in the pit, this would have been a lot better. Like, if Xmedi was standing here and Cody's son was standing here, I think it would be an auto attack range for the Baron, and then it would be a lot better. But instead, Cody's son is cut off. Cody's son is trading with all the wrong people. He was trading with Talia and Prey at the same time here. You can see that you know, Ole is shielding Pobelter, not the Tristana. And then without the Lulu shield, Cody-san is just trading auto attacks here. He's just getting absolutely smackarooed. Like he got smashed big time. Cody-san uses clean QSS usage. And the feast comes in. Holy moly. Look at how the shield here on BB saves him. Right now, he's shielded, right? And look at the amount of HP he survived. So the shield is about 700. You know, a bit more over 700 here. The shield is so perfectly timed. It's absolutely crazy. Like, flame flashes instantly. Shield used. And then, boom. The feast drops. And look, he survives with about 700 HP. So this shield was so clutch. It makes BD survive. And it's absolutely incredible, you know, that the reflex was there to just make him survive. And then, you know, all things considered, you know, Cody-san very low. The positioning of everyone here is absolutely terrible. Like, look, you left your 2 tanks in the pit. 2 tanks in the pit. Shen is here. Shen can just back off if he wants to. And he can just W and survive a lot of these autos. That is also one of the beautiful things about Shen, is that his W is really OP against a comp that has fully auto attack based champions. This is something that I didn't mention, right? Didn't mention it a single time in this game, but it's definitely true that the enemy team has a lot of champions that are auto attack based, and you know, Longzhu can just play around the Shen W and he can survive for a long time. But there's no way you win this fight when your tanks are balls deep and the enemies are like in position to hit them. So let's play this all the way to the end. Magically they get over the wall with their flashes, but it's too late already. Like, they are getting run over. And Immortals, whoa, POB. Really don't like his item choice. Actually, I hate his item choice. I don't like the fact that he has GA. I think it's useless. Void Staff here or QSS here, and it would have been better. Let's take a look at the ultimates. Varus is still off cooldown, and that's a smite from Cuz. Immortals still have a lot of wave clear, right? So it's not super easy for Longzhu to just break the base. The main thing here is that there's a lot of summoners that are burnt. Like, Immortals pretty much have no summoners left. They have TPs, but they're not going to TP out of the Jarvan ultimate. So the next engage is going to be a lot easier for Cuz to make flawlessly here. $11,000 damage. Holy moly. This is all tank DPS though. I would see like the damage done graph in the end of the game, but Frey is doing ridiculous amounts of damage. Corki in this one didn't do anything at all. I don't know what happened to him. I just want to take a look at what happened to Corki. So he's hitting the Baron, and then he's packaging out because of the Varus ultimate. And then he autos Prey once, twice. Prey with his MR doesn't take that much damage. Nah, man, why doesn't anyone buy freaking Void Staff on Corki? It makes me so sad, actually. Void Staff is so OP on Corki. It's crazy how OP it is. Like, man, if he just had spell penetration boots, like, together with Void Staff now, he would have done so much more damage. Like, everyone on the enemy team has like 100 MR. Like, legit, everyone has 100 MR. Void Staff would have increased that DPS by insane amounts. Finally, Papa fucking bless. Void Staff it is. Immortals will win this game now. Nah, I doubt it. I doubt it. The goal differential doesn't matter anymore, right? Everyone has their core items and they can sell and readjust builds, but Talia is in mid lane hitting mid tower, and Immortals are not responded to this quite late. You know, the mid tower is almost down, and Longzhu are pressuring on bottom. It's going to be hard for Immortals to engage with this team composition. They need to kind of just make plays with their Tristana by giving her speed, giving her shield, and then let Tristana trade against the enemies, because right now you can't really engage with Sejuani. Sejuani is up top against Shen for some reason, and Choga is bottom. I don't think that is optimal. Like, what's happening here? I guess it doesn't matter too much, but I feel like at least Sejuani can look for an ult onto the Janna. It's important now. Cody-san is the one that needs to carry. He's the one with the long range. He's also the one with the auto attack damage. Oh shit, this Varus is so donkey, man. The Janna shield is quite big, and this Varus is amazing. You know, we talk about how it's falling off, but it's being very effective here in the late game, killing the tanks, and of course Immortals in a lot of situations mispositioned and did a lot of crazy macro decisions. Immortals have had such a shitty day. Like, they've had such a bad day in terms of like gameplay, and it's absolutely crazy to think that coming into this week they were like a heavy favorite to take second, but I feel like their performance in all their matches today has been very, very mediocre and bad. Maybe they just got too cocky, maybe they're choking because they're in this position. Longzhu had 3 chances. I mean, Immortals had 3 chances today to just seal the deal by winning 1 match. They just had to win 1 freaking match against Gigabyte Marines, Fnatic, or Longzhu, and they would have been through. No, it's also crazy to think that Gigabyte Marines almost beat Longzhu. That game was like freaking close, like really, really close. But Longzhu are getting a clean 6-0 in the group stage. Flame is stuck in. Crazy how this Talia wall is so well placed, and Flame is just out of position. Like right there when the Talia wall comes in and his entire team is zoned off, he needs to just give up the inhib, and walking in there is just plain silly because Immortals, they're just stuck behind this wall. They can't do anything to support him. He should just walked away after that happened. Elder Dragon has spawned. You know, very tough situation now for Immortals because they have a lot of super creeps heading towards their base. So as long as Longzhu are patient, they're not taking any risks here. They can just wait. Immortals out. Immortals need to clear the waves, and then when that happens, they can just start the Elder Dragon. You know, the wave up top is coming. Corki has TP though, so it's not that terrible for him. He can join the fight. 62,000 damage dealt by Varus. Holy moly, how much of that is on Choga? And the Sejuani. You know, crazy stuff. Elder Dragon taken by Longzhu. They're now super powerful together with the super creeps. They can just walk in here. The waves are coming in from both sides. 2 super creeps are spawning on both sides, and the game is just going to be over. I feel like Immortals could have played so much better in the team fights. They did mistakes every now and then, and they got caught, similar to this one here. Like the lack of QSS, and then you're walking up so far. No Mikaels as well on Ole. Immortals, just another loss for them. They're playing against tough opposition. I still feel like they managed to survive and with a comp that should have scaled better into the late game. But Prey was just in the better position all the time to kill those tanks. And for the first time, Cody-san got more than 1 auto attack off on the enemy AD. Cody-san is definitely not stepping up in this meta. Like, this meta is very AD reliant, and looking at the other pool of AD carries that we have at this tournament, like we have Reckless, Uzi, iBoy, who else? Mystic, Double Lift, Bang. I think Ruler is also good. I think Prey is think Prey is just so good. Prey is so good. Like, I'm a big fan of Prey. Like, to be honest, for me, if I had to pick like my favorite players of all time, it would be Prey and Gorilla. Like, I have always looked up to them, and they're showing once again why they should be looked up to, because they bring good draft to the table, amazing play, and always incredible to watch Longzhu. Like, they're definitely 100% looking like the favorite of this tournament. You know, I don't think it's arguable. Sure, it is arguable. You know, if someone's telling you that SKT is looking like the favorite because of history and show, then, you know, okay, you get your points. But I think Longzhu is looking like a favorite, and I think they can definitely take this home. Let's see what happens now in the tiebreakers. Fnatic is going to face Immortals first, and then the winner of that is going to face Gigabyte Marines, because Gigabyte Marines had the best game time, so it's a small kind of bracket. And either way, you need to beat your opposition to get through. It's going to be quite exciting. Let's see what comes next. I'll see you guys in the next one.